Hello again. Welcome to the pyramid, the mind breath pyramid. Okay, so I imagine you know why you're here, and that is to breathe. So let's get breathing. Okay, so we start today with the planetary Skywalker. And so the planetary Skywalker is going to be in our left wrist here. And just so you know, the self-existing tone is going to be in our right wrist. So the energy today is going to be the left and right, the wrist connection. Just as yesterday was the shoulder connection. And tomorrow will be the elbow connection. No, I messed that up. My elbows looked like they were lower than my wrists for a second because of how I was sitting. But tomorrow is actually going to be the hip connection, then the knee connection, and then the ankle connection. So today we're wrists, tomorrow we're hips, day after that we're knees, and day after that we're ankles. So today we're the left wrist primary, right wrist secondary. The reason I say secondary is because there is only one sequence of breath going to be going through our right wrist, and that will be the hidden power of the day. Every other energy of the day, general, helping, guiding, and challenging, will all be going through the left wrist, which is the planetary wrist. Okay, let's begin. Left wrist, left ring finger. Ring finger is the finger beside your baby finger on the left hand. Left wrist, left ring finger, outward. Begin. Keep those breaths coming. Wow, I was really getting into that one. Some stuff was really moving for me there. Getting a really big download today. It's time for me to let go of some things. And I'll be honest, because I really want to inspire people who are listening with transparency, is that, this is stuff that has been hidden from me for my whole life. And as I was breathing there, I saw flashes of many different situations in my life, all that have had the same type of energy, something that's been kind of hounding me for a while and really taking my energy. And has been challenging my ability to show up in a sovereign way for myself as my complete expression of well-being, my complete expression of completeness. And that's actually what hit me today when I got to see some patterns. And so now I'm like, okay, it's there, it's present, I receive you, how can I move forward? Right? And so that's another thing I find is as we're moving this energy, because we're breathing directly through the matrix of our being, these breaths are not a fabricated thing. We have this energy lingo, this matrix of energy within our body. And the energies at large in the cosmos was, you can imagine, I say before, but this is actually very out of time, but in objective spatial speaking, time is a thing of before and after. This energy precedes us. You could say it was here before us, even though we're inherently linked and are actually growing together simultaneously, and the energy is neither before or after, but we're essentially here because of it. And so as we are very much like the flesh and the bones, or the flesh and the muscle kind of builds around the bones and hangs off the bones, we hang off of this lattice or structure in many ways. And so as we breathe into it, the energy of its naturalness moves and flows quite freely and quite readily. And this is one of the things that really helps us to clear the old imprints of energy from our body, from our destiny, from our matrix. And so as we open ourselves to these energies, that which doesn't want to be there, that which is ready to move, ready to change, in this case, ready to die, ready to transform, ready to equalize, will move. It can only move. There's actually no question about it. To me, that feels like the warrior energy. There's no question. We perfected the warrior, therefore there's no question. One of the words are question. There is no question about it. All you have to do is surrender, in some way stop fighting. You don't have to ask, oh, will it happen? Will it happen? That's a conflict. It doesn't matter. The choice to show up and participate is all that's required. Everything is secondary. Everything is kind of like a voluntary indulgence, because all we really have to do is be aware, breathe, and allow and trust. And you'll know what to do. You'll know what to do. And I've talked enough there. Okay, so let's get on to the planetary wizard. The planetary, of course, is the left wrist, and the wizard is the left baby finger. So it's the sister or brother or best friend or buddy of the ring finger. They're right next to each other all the time. So baby finger, left hand, left wrist. Breathe out when you're ready. Yeah, his breaths are bringing up a lot for me, actually. It's a little awkward for this all to being recorded. Finding myself crying, actually. There's a lot of energy moving for me. But I think I'm going to keep this as the recording. And I want to share this moment with you all authentically. It's not like I'm actually putting up like just like a fake recording, like, oh, breathe, I'm breathing with you. And I also know that I'm sharing with you through time. And so though it may be that you get this after I've recorded it, but because our energies are connected fourth dimensionally, we're actually all doing this together. Time in the fourth dimension is very different because it exists as a very different space. It is time space, the space within time. I feel that's a good, wizard energy, the wizard, that time space, that kind of energy really shows up there. That's like one of the natures of sorcery is working from these spaces. And I find, I love that the breath kind of brought this up, is that like part of being a wizard or a magic user or a sorcerer, you can really kind of debunk that. It's actually just a kind of meta logic. It's moving energy and participating in functions which are highly logical actually, kind of neological and really easy to access if you really attune yourself. And ultimately, it's no different than incorporating or cultivating senses in the third dimension. These are just third dimensional senses. The only reason a lot of them don't really make sense is because we're attempting to impose the intelligence of our third dimensional senses onto these other dimensions that aren't really compatible. And then because of our kind of like hubris, we go, oh, well, it must not exist. It's like, what? This doesn't exist because you believe that your limited sense capacity can somehow bridge that connection. It's like, and this is why I call it hubris, because it's like all we have to do is realize that what we've cultivated thus far actually isn't really that important. And this is another reason why self-importance or giving too much importance to a thing will ultimately only create suffering for oneself and those around us, because nothing ultimately is permanent. Nothing is forever, which is why nothing can ultimately be important, because that which becomes will eventually fade. And so allowing another, I think there's another good message of the world bridge, message of the death, is to cultivate that which is important as that which has meaning. And so it has meaning, and the meaning factored by your heart has a harmonic resonance. And so this brings about love. We're not coming from a space of attachment. We're not coming from a space of imposing. We're coming from a space of sharing something that magnifies our being. And as we flow with that energy, the relativity of its meaning begins to transform in its impact by how it meets the field effect, the fifth dimensional field, the collective field, the fourth dimensional lattice, and that energy can flow very directly. And so the value of it, that which in a more containment field oriented or like objective format, we would say important, which is interesting because the root word in important is import, that of import, being imported, being brought from somewhere else. Which is interesting because that which is important, you could say, is that where you are, it didn't come from there. It's been imported. So something that is important is actually not inherently natural to the present state of being because it has been imported. It obviously came from somewhere else. That's all this little dialect here. I know there's a lot of talking in this meditation, but there's a lot coming through, so I feel it's appropriate to share. So let's go on to the challenging power of the day, which is the planetary warrior. Planetary tone, left wrist, warrior, on the left foot next to your big toe. Big toe next to big toe is your warrior toe. Left wrist next to big toe, left foot, out breath. Breathe on. Okay. Allowing your cycles to transform and end whatever may be coming up for you. And as you find your completeness in this breath, let us move on to the hidden power, which is the self-existing eagle or four eagle. Now, oh, this is kind of interesting. I actually just noticed this. While the first two energies are the left hand next to baby finger and baby finger, these last two energies, the warrior and the eel, are big toe and next to big toe. And all together, it's kind of fun. 13, 14, 16, and 15 if you go from the east all the way to the south. The Skywalker is 13, Wizard is 14, 16 is the Warrior, and 15 is the Eagle. So 13, 14, 15, and 16 are in there. It's kind of cool sequence. And so our big toe, this time, our big toe, right wrist, out breath. Big toe, right wrist, out breath, left foot. That's it, left foot. Left foot, big toe, right wrist, out breath. Mm-hmm. As you find your completeness here, let's move on to the final breath of our day, and that's going to be Planetary World Bridger. And the World Bridger is the big toe next to, the toe next to your big toe on the right foot. So your right next to big toe. This is going to be an in-breath paired with your left wrist. So I keep wanting to say next to right. Sure, next to your right big toe. That's what seems to want to come out, so I'm just going to say it like that. Next to right big toe, toe next to your right big toe with your left wrist. Breathe in here. Mm-hmm. Okay. Coming into the center of our pyramid and just connecting it all and witnessing yourself in all of those portions. Just kind of being with the large whole general energy that has moved for you today. This is a gift for you. Regardless of what it looks like, it is all a great, great treasure. from here, we're just going to dissolve into the wholeness of this temple of breath that we create here every day. In a similar way, but in a new and unique way every day. Be present within the container and resonate with that. Be in that pyramid with all of the pyramid energy. Be in that channel and in that portal with all that is part of. And I feel that concludes that mind pyramid meditation section of today's episode of 1320 Time Stream. I am Malaya Eternal. Thank you for tuning in and participating in Lakesh. I am another yourself.